cheaper Tesla Model Y might sound a little bit tempting. It's a lower price, it's got more range, but I'm going to tell you at the current deal, especially if you're going to be financing the new Model Y, it is not a good deal. And almost don't buy the new Model Y rear wheel drive because it's just a lot of different things aren't stacking up with it. And I'll tell you all the different things that need to align to make it a good deal. In case you missed it, the new Model Y rear wheel drive, the cheaper, more affordable Tesla Model Y, is been released or has been released. But this one could actually cost you more over time, especially if you might be leasing it or definitely if you're going to be financing it. And we've already crunched down all the numbers, so I can show you one for one on why it's actually not the best deal, especially if you're someone that needs to buy a Tesla right now and you're faced with both of these apples to oranges and whichever decision you're going to be getting with it. But let's go with the pros of this. Of course, it's a rear wheel drive, so unless you live in inclement weather areas, it's not going to be worth it. It does have the maximum range possible, and it's also the cheapest. So if you're paying cash, you can basically skip through this topic and not talk about it at all. But really, actually, maybe if you're paying cash, there could be some other opportunities for that cash instead. It's got 357 miles of range, and it's priced at $37,490. And if you want to add full self-driving on top of this, you can get 3 months of full self-driving added if you use our Tesla referral code, just like the one down below in the description. But I would not buy a Tesla Model Y rear-wheel drive right now. I like the idea of it. I think it's a fantastic price, but the deal does not make any sense. And so I'm kind of giving you the warning. Do not buy the Tesla Model Y rear-wheel drive at the moment, especially if you're financing, because what's happening right now is Tesla is using the rear-wheel drive to try and push buyers into getting the all-wheel drive because the monthly payments between the both of them are basically the same. If you go on Tesla's website, you might have noticed already that if you go ahead and build a Tesla Model Y, it's about the same finance payment between the both of them because they've really structured it to really be around the same. You can see we got $571 for the rear-wheel drive and $574 for the long-range all-wheel drive. But there's big differences here in how much total interest you're going to be paying. Right now, the rear-wheel drive is 5.49% and the all-wheel drive is 1.99%. So you can already kind of see where I'm going with this, that if you're going to be financing a rear-wheel drive, it does not make any sense at all. I know some of these numbers, 1.99% on the all-wheel drive is up to 60 months, but I'm going to show you the calculation in just a little bit. 5.49% with the same amount down, you can really see some of the different interests on the different with everything here, because the total cost over both of them, depending on how much down payment, is essentially right about the same 1-to-1. And so why sacrifice? If you're going to be paying the same, if you're going to be financing anyways for 6 to 7 years, you might as well just get the all-wheel drive version because it might have better resale value at the end of the day. But here is where the math comes into play. If you calculate on a rear-wheel drive and extrapolate it over the 60 to 72 month terms, you're going to be paying that much interest, $2,314 interest on an all-wheel drive, or on a rear-wheel drive at $5,894. So you can see almost more than double the amount of interest on the rear-wheel drive because it's at the 5.49%. We did this on 72 months, but I went ahead and did it again at a 60-month term. So this example that you're seeing right here on the screen is a 60-month term for a all-wheel drive at 1.99% at a purchase price of $41,490, already factoring the $7,500, and of course using the $10,000 down payment that is needed when you need to get that 1.99. You can see this is where my eyes go. It says total loan interest $1,618 for a total cost of $48,000, basically $49,000 if you keep the loan all the way to 60 months and you pay it diligently on time, 60-month payments. Now let's switch over to a rear-wheel drive option. You can see 60 months, purchase price $37,490, 5.49%, which is more than double the interest rate for the similar type of vehicle. Same thing as everything down here. We did zero down payment. You can see the total interest is way more than double at $5,465 at a total cost of almost $48,500. So the difference between these two is about $1,000 to $1,500. And so you can't tell me that if you're going to be paying the same amount, like within $1,000 to $2,000, you might as well get the all-wheel drive version at the end of the day, because I mean, you're really sacrificing the rear wheel drive versus the all wheel drive. And I think some of the people out there are really starting to notice this, that it doesn't make any sort of sense. Why would you ever get the rear wheel drive when it's only just a few bucks more and you'll be saving a lot of interest? You could be using that money for other investments or other securities as well. Of course, certainly a very interesting topic. Let us know, did you order a Model Y rear wheel drive last night with the new order? I mean, of course, if you're leasing, that's a different story. That's a whole nother topic. We might talk about that in the next few days once we get the lease interest rates. But if you're paying cash, of course, that's a way different story as well. But the biggest kicker is this: if you're buying a Model Y rear wheel drive, my advice is to try and pay that loan off as quickly as possible, because that's how auto financing works. If you keep the loan all the way to 60 months, this is the total interest you're going to be paying. But if you pay it down quicker, I know it's a lot easier said than done, then that's even less interest every day after that. But if you really want the rear wheel drive and you're stuck on it and you're going to be diligent in paying it off, there is ways to save on the interest rates. And that's where our Patreon guide, Ultimate Tesla Buying Guide, that has all the different credit unions down below in the description. We just helped someone get into a new auto loan for a new Model Y. At that time, it was 5.49%, and they were able to save a little bit and get an interest rate of 4.74%. So there's a variety of credit unions on my Tesla Buying Guide that anybody can join. That is way better than the 5.4% interest rate. So if you're really stuck on trying to get this rear wheel drive, which, I mean, it does sound like a great deal on paper with the extra range and everything, and now that we know it has the same amount of speakers and everything as well, really no difference at all besides range, acceleration, supercharging speed, and price and weight. I mean, it's a crazy value, and it's almost got me thinking like, hey, like maybe we should have waited to get the rear wheel drive, because we don't need all-wheel drive. I don't necessarily care about speed or anything like that. I really care about sometimes the long range of the vehicle and also comfort as well. And really good to hear that they didn't change any of that with the brand new Tesla Model Y long range rear wheel drive. But let us know what your thoughts on it. Let us know what you're thinking. Did you do the math calculations yourself? And if there's a workaround, or you think there's a better route to actually do this and actually buy a Model Y rear wheel drive, then put it down below in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. In other Model Y news, someone was able to paint their Model Y rims in satin black, and I think this is the best look. If you don't want to change or go with Unplugged Performance rims, like the link down below in the description for Unplugged Performance, because we got a set of UP05s, then I would say if you want to keep it stock and you want to pay like a couple $100, then certainly this is a very interesting look, and I definitely like the satin black look on, of course, a black Model Y. But if you want to get out of your rims and get into some performance rims, Unplugged Performance actually has a rim trade-in program as well. They just started it, and I believe you can trade in or sell your stock rims to Unplugged Performance and get a credit of, I think, $1,000 on a new set of rims from Unplugged Performance. So definitely check it out. Link down below in the description. But let us know what your thoughts on it. Let us know what you're thinking. Planning on financing your Tesla, then there's one thing you need to do before you even apply: protect your credit. Seriously, because here's the wildest part. Bank of America just had a data breach recently, and they didn't even tell customers for a month. That means your social, your phone number, and your email could have already been out there, and you'd have no clue. Most companies wait on average of 277 days to report a breach. That's 9 months where your identity is exposed and you're the last to know. That's why I use Aura, today's sponsor. Aura constantly scans the dark web and lets me know if anything tied to me shows up: my social, bank info, or any of my personal information. And that's not just for breaches. There's so many different tools I use with Aura. Want to reduce those pesky spam calls? Aura's got it. Want to remove your data, like your addresses, phone numbers, from those sketchy broker sites? Aura has that too. They will also include $5 million in identity theft insurance, and everything's packed into one clean app. You can try it free for 14 days at aura.com/DennisCW. I'll put that in the description as well. Don't wait until someone else tells you your data is at risk. That's like turning on Sentry mode after your car got keyed. Protect your credit before you apply. I'm doing it, and you should too.